Hi, this is Becky from Icing on Top Becky's Cakes, and we're going to learn how to pipe a buttercream rose onto a cupcake. Here is the rose tip we will use. It is 127 from Wilton, and it is the very largest rose tip that I have in my collection. And here's the wooden skewer and the Americolor Regal Purple. Now we're going to get our pastry bag ready. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut a hole big enough for our nozzle to hit about halfway through, but not far enough that it's going to pop all the way out. So it's always better to cut less, and you can always cut a little more if you need to. But if you ruin your piping bag, then you're just going to have to get a new one. So I always try to cut less the first time. We're going to put the piping bag in so that the narrow end is lined up with one of the seams. And we're just going to fit that all the way through. Now mine doesn't hit quite in the middle, but it'll still stay in, so we will go with this one. Now I'm going to get my Regal Purple food dye after I fold the bag in half. So I'm going to fold it in half, and we're going to put that dye right on that seam there that you see. So here it is, folded right in half and right on that seam where the narrow end of the tip is. That's exactly where we're going to put that dye. So I'm going to squirt a little bit of this right at the top. Let gravity do some of the work, but the rest I'm going to take up my skewer and I'm going to just push that down so it goes straight down the seam all the way to the tip line. Actually all the way into the tip even. Now I'm going to get some of that white buttercream that I had made up, which I'll put the recipe in the description below so that you have the exact buttercream that I'm using. I'm just going to push that down right into the bag. I'm going to try not to push it down on the side that has the stripe of gel coloring, but I'm going to try to push it down as much as possible. And obviously that end is going to get the coloring on it, which we want it to, but we just want it to get on one side. So once I've got a lot of buttercream in, I'm going to shake that down real good to get most of that buttercream down to the bottom. Now if you use less buttercream, you'll have more control of your bag. I have my bag pretty full, so I have a little less control, but then I don't have to fill it as many times. I'm going to squirt some out on the plate, and so I see that I have both the color and the buttercream coming through. And then I clean off the tip real good so that I get a nice sharp point. Next I'm going to grab one more piping bag with just the buttercream. I'm going to cut just a small hole in that. I'm going to use this to make a cone in the middle, and on that cone is where I'm going to build my rose. So just going to squirt a nice amount. I'm going to squeeze with my fingers with the tip facing in towards the center of the cone. Then each time I do a layer, like this, I'll put on 3 petals. So first, I'm going to make sure that bag's really tight. And there's the color up and the tip up. So here's that cone in towards the center and then down. And then here come the 3 petals. Still a little bit in towards the center. And then the next row are going to be more straight up and down. And try to stagger these petals as well as I go. And I'm moving my wrist so that I get that petal really roundish. And then I'm going to tighten. And then the tip is a little more out. As the rose opens up, my tip moves towards me slowly. So that narrow end is going to be pretty much flat towards me as I do the last and final layer. I'm going to tighten up my bag again to make sure that I have a good pressure when I squeeze out. And I'm just going to shake my wrist a little so that I get a little bit of a ruffle on that last petal. All right, and now I'm going to show you just a couple more roses here. There's the cone, and then we're going to just do that swirl right around the center of the cone towards the middle of it, and then 1, 2, 3, still slightly in, and then now going a little more towards me. These ones are pretty much up and down though. And then I'm shaking it out, and that tip is almost flat towards me. And there's another rose. And then I'm going to do one more. Here's my last rose cupcake that I have. I'm just going to pipe that cone right again. Clean off my nozzle so I get a nice sharp looking petal. And then spin right around that cone. And I kind of go down at the end if you notice, because that kind of seals off that cone and makes sure that the buttercream stays where I want it. And each time I'm squeezing while I make the petals, and I release it at the end of the petal. And as I release it, then I pull. And that makes sure that the petals have a clean getaway there. All right, and then there's the frill on the petals at the end with that, again, the narrow end, the color strip facing almost directly towards me. And there's that rose. And that is the buttercream roses on cupcakes. I'm gonna have another video that'll have the buttercream roses on the flower nail and on wax paper, and one that you can lift off. And then I'm gonna have these other cupcake flower videos. So come join me for my other videos soon. Thank you so much for watching.